for stand-up comedy at that time, and at that time, that was when they made this push for original stand-up specials. So they went after Rock, they went after Chappelle, they went after all these guys to come out of retirement and do a new special.
Who all talk to a very specific audience too, by the way.
Exactly, but that's the thing about Hollywood, Charlamagne. It's like there's only two specific audiences that are allowed to be heard.
Black and white. Yeah.
Black and white. Right. And not all white. I do a joke on my special where it's not even a joke. I just say it's like I don't know the difference between Jeff Foxworthy's accent and my mom's accent. They're both American and they both speak English, but for some reason no one wants to hear my mom's. I don't hear a difference between my mom going,
does your mom got jokes?
I don't see the difference between my mom going, what would you like for breakfast? Or Jeff Foxworthy going, hey, what would you like for breakfast? I don't understand. What do you mean by the specificness?
Right.
I don't get it.
I watch you is, even though you didn't want to be with Netflix or even with Easter Sunday, you still choose to focus so much on Filipino culture. And I'm sure that when you do things like that, people are like, oh, you should broaden it out. You should make it more broad for people.
Yeah.
What do you say when they say that to you?
I can do any. Okay, this is why it's so important for me. And I'll. My mom's lived in this country since 1969. Right, she's been here for 53 years, and she's American. She's a Filipino American, and I talk about Filipinos being nurses. I have so many nurses in my family that live here, right? And I know you've met them too. So just imagine them living here for 50 years, working at hospitals, 14-hour shifts, and then they go home and they turn on the TV and they watch a TV show about a hospital and not one Filipino is on that show. Or they go to a movie and there's a hospital scene and they don't even see a Filipino extra in the emergency room.
Damn.
And it makes them feel invisible.
Right.
You feel
Now, for example, okay, for a long time in a lot of movies, black folks were always depicted, even in scary movies, depicted to be like the funny outlet, the comedic outlet. We're always trying to make jokes about some things. We can't be serious. We can't be the ones to figure out a plan to, to catch the bad guy or whatnot. We're always just the goofy, nerdy ones. You know what I'm saying? And that right there, it may not be as extreme as, I don't know about the hospitals you go into, but when I last went to the hospital, it was really diverse. It wasn't just all white people. You know what I'm saying? I live in Colorado. You know what I'm saying? I live in the middle of Colorado. So I understand what he's saying. And it took a long time for black folks to be like, hey, we're all not like that. You know what I'm saying? Or when it's some mugging scene, it's always a dark skinned person. Like we're all not gangsters. We're all not thugs. I mean, we can be if we need to, but for the most part, we can be the well-spoken ones. We can be the ones walking around with our shirts tucked in. Like, it's representation that matters. And I think he's making a good point that he knows a lot of Filipinos who are doctors and who are nurses. But when you see these popular TV shows, these popular movies, you don't see a lick of that in these shows. And I don't really watch too many of those doctor shows, but I mean, take his word for it or not, or look for yourself. So I think that's a pretty simple concept to understand. Ooh, I'm clicking the wrong thing.
like, oh, okay, I guess I ain't nothing. I guess I am just visiting. And that's what that is. So when people ask me, oh, you're going to tell another story about your mom? I'm going to do 53 years worth of stories on my mom because I'm the only one that's going to put those out there right now.
Exactly.
So if I'm going to do a movie about a Filipino family, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Like this is for her and them. So that's what it's about. I can do all the other jokes. I post it all the time. Mm-hmm. I'll post my ad libs. I'll do improv sets. I'll do all that. But when it comes to like saying something from my heart, it's going to be about that.
Well, two things. I remember in your book, you said that you started off not doing those types of jokes.
Yes.
And then
because I grew up in a time when, it's like
you had to be mainstream.
I had to be mainstream, and it's like, and once again, you're being too specific. And like what is funny? You know what I mean? Like I grew up in the 70s and 80s, right? So as a kid, I'm watching cartoons that's depicting Asians with slanted eyes and big goggles and buck teeth, and we're supposed to laugh, right? Like if I have my white friend over and watching a cartoon and that comes on, right? We all laugh together. So that's normalized. Like,
Or-
so that,
or
to me,
when some cartoons or some movies depict the black guy always sagging, under his butt, and always got a gold, and it's weird, we always got a gold necklace, and we always got like some funky attitude on our face, like we just ready to fight and wearing a do-rag. Like, not all black people wear big old gold necklaces, and not all of us sag. You know what I'm saying? Not all of us just are depicted in that gangster mentality way. And I understand he is tired of seeing Asians and Filipino always depicted in a nerdy type of laugh at them kind of way. And it's understandable. Once again, if that's hard for you to understand, I think you need to go sit on your bed, turn off the lights, get a big old bowl of ice cream, drizzle a whole bunch of chocolate and strawberry syrup, and just put the cover over your head, turn on some TV, and just think about your life. If you don't understand where he's coming from, he's saying, I didn't see that. I didn't see a positive image of my kind of people, and now I'm in a position to do so I'm going to do it to the max. And that's the stuff that I love, because black folks can't fight everybody's fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, black folks is still trying to fight black issues. You know what I'm saying? And I understand, if we could all link up and fight the good fight together, we could win. But I mean, my Mexican homies, you guys need to step up and be a positive role model for your guys' own race, and same with the Asians and the Indians and everybody in between. Like, we all have to take responsibility and make those positive images for our people, just like Mr. Joe Coy.
of course you don't want to hear my story about my mom divorcing my dad. You just want me to do this Asian character because that's what's accepted, because the other one, this story, is too specific. So yeah, in the beginning of stand-up, how am I supposed to get into the comedy clubs? Like, I had to do those. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like I go, oh, I have to do this. It was like, I was kind of like programmed that way.
Yeah.
As a child, I was programmed. Oh yeah, we make fun of Asians. That's how I get accepted in this country. Let's make fun of Asians. Like, so yeah, like I remember this one time I told this story in my book where my mom and dad are divorced. We just want a color TV, and it's me and my whole family. Like, it was me and my brother and my two sisters and my mom, and we're filling out these raffle tickets. I think we sat there for like 6 hours filling out these raffle tickets at Sears or JCPenney, whatever it is, and we stuffed that little bin up with raffle tickets, and we win the TV.
And people were mad.
Y'all cheated.
People were mad. Y'all cheated. You damn right. You damn right.
But I
and
think that's something.
we go up the escalator to get it, and there's this little white kid in front of my mom, and my mom loves kids, right? Every time she sees a kid, she goes crazy. And we're going up, and she goes, "Oh my God, hi, you're so cute. What's your name? What's your name?" And he turns around, and he pulls his eyes back, right? This is like 1983, and goes, "Oh, yo, 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 yo." And I remember we're all just like,
It's not funny.
it's not, but I remember just like,
So why'd you make it a joke if it's not funny?
it's not.
Joe?
No,
I'm
it's
telling you
funny.
a story,
People tell a
Charlamagne.
joke, and
I
then
think
when
you
we
need to
laugh,
listen.
they say it's not funny.
I think you
No,
need to
he's
listen,
telling a real
Charlamagne.
story
Okay.
that happened in his book.
Now, I think Charlamagne in that moment kind of dropped the ball. Like, it was a serious moment. He was not trying to be funny, but unfortunately, Charlamagne, he sees Joe Coy as a comedian. So just like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people, if you're in the presence of a comedian and you try to be funny as yourself, and you may not be able to read the room. I don't think Charlamagne was able to read the room, but I think it was a serious moment, and it just kind of got a little awkward there. But
This is why.
I read the book. I heard the story.
But I remember my mom not being able to do anything. I remember my mom just clamming up and just going, "It's okay, Joe." I knew she was obviously hurt. I was like 11 years old and just looking at my mom going, what was, I didn't even know how to react.
Right.
Because I'd never seen anyone do something like that.
Did
to
you
my
realize
mom.
he was making fun of you?
I knew it was. I knew he was making fun of her, but like I was in shock. Like, hold on, what's going on right now? Like, something just happened really, and I knew my mom couldn't do anything, because if my mom would have raised her voice and says, "Hey, you can't do that to me," then she would have been the bad person. Because the parents would have been like, hey, he's just a kid. What are you yelling at that kid for, lady?
If you would have gotten into a karate stance, you'd have scared the shit out of him.
This is what I'm talking about right now. This is why you should get canceled. I'm about to cancel Charlamagne right now.
You little cracker, could have said something like that.
That too.
Yeah, but so as a kid, it had to hurt because all the jokes were about. A lot of the jokes were about Asians, especially in New York. It was Asians.
Yes.
It was Haitians.
Yes.
And Africans.
Yes.
So you never just wanted to wild out back?
I mean, how can you though? How do you do that back then?
Crack jokes. You're a comedian.
No, man. Come on, Charlamagne. Stop, bro.
You a comedian.
Yeah, but
He
no,
wasn't a
man. Like
comedian
when you
then.
see something like that, we're not. That's not a joke anymore, man.
No,
like
but back then it was a joke because I even know.
But
when
back
I
then
went
it
to
wasn't a
kids-
joke, man. Like
Well, no,
that,
I get
when it's coming out of hate and it's
you're right.
a white family doing that to an Asian family, that's not jokes, man.
Well,
That's hate.
I'm from the South, so growing up, we call them crackers, right? But you crack ass, cracker.
But my dad would. I went to an all-white school and we got the nigga jokes all the time, and that's what my dad would say. You call him crack ass,
and we would beat him up.
and then he would like
Yes,
jump him, But
We definitely used to do a lot of that.
and that's amazing. You get to do that, but
can't do that now. But back then it was
no,
what it was.
you can still do it. But you can still do that. No one's got to find out. But no, it's not. It was completely different, especially for like Asian people. They're just like
I get it now, Joe.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
I get it.
man.
No, I get why you are the way you are now, because you want to show people the representation that you didn't have
Correct.
when you was younger.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why I latched on. That's why I latched on to black comedy so much. Like
I don't like how you said black.
No, I'll say it harder if you want. Black. The blacks made me laugh hard. I latched on to black comedy because
Why am I laughing?
I felt like when they spoke, I felt like they were talking about my family. Like when I hear Eddie Murphy do Uncle Gus making a fire, it was like, yeah, that's what broke people do. My uncle made a fire like that.
Now, pay attention because this right here, he's about to. I don't think they understand how much just valuable, amazing information they're about to drop right here. This right here can save America, literally save America, and turn this democracy into an actual democracy. Like I think if we'll be able to accomplish what they're about to say, in my humble opinion, this right here could change America as soon as the majority of middle class to poor folks, and that makes about like what, 70-80% of America. You know what I'm saying? If we could all figure this out, understand it, and practice it, this could change America for the best. I promise you. Take a listen. Please get a pencil and paper and just listen real hard.
You know what I mean? And I related. When I saw, a white family, even though I'm half white, I didn't relate to it. My mom and dad divorced when I was like 10. And when I was being raised by Filipinos, man, and I didn't see that side.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did you consider yourself Asian? And the reason I ask this is,
Listen.
New York, going to school, Filipinos hung out with the black kids.
See how crazy it is. My sisters dated black guys.
No,
it was
the
like
truth. Like, the
we
Filipinos
just
was with
gravitated towards black people. It's
Stop
like
saying black like
we
that.
didn't look at.
I'm sorry,
as
blacks.
we didn't understand. Like we didn't look at Filipinos
Watch.
as Asians. They were
I
just one of
know.
us. They sat at our table. They rode the bus with us.
Me and Dre talk about this all the time. My sister's husband, and this is the one thing he
He's
said.
black.
He's black. Is that okay if I said it like that? He's like
Dre.
he's black.
But go ahead, Joe.
He's a
Dick.
He's a dick. But this is what we talk about. Like out of all, when black, this is what he said. He goes,
Listen.
If you were to date any other ethnicity, it would be a relationship of explaining. Mm-hmm. Well, black people do this, and black people like to eat this, or black people, and learning about each other. He goes, With Filipinos, they just get it. There's no explanation. There's like this common thread, even down to the food. It's almost like if you eat our food, you're like, oh yeah, that's soul food too. You guys eat chitlins? Like my sister's like, yeah, we eat that too.
We don't eat chitlins. Joke
no,
on.
you get what I'm saying though. We have
You should have
those
just
foods.
said chicken. I know chicken might be stereotypical.
Just stop.
You should have just said
No,
chicken.
no,
You
we
did
have
not. You
that
should have
too.
just said chicken.
We have that too. And we have the same similarity. The music, we get it. The dancing, we get it. Everything. It's like it's just like we get it. For some reason, there's no explanation. You love our food, we love your food. It's like there's no explanation. And I didn't really see it that way. I just was like, for some reason, Filipinos and black people get along really well. But then after Dre said that, I was like, yeah, that is true. There is no explanation.
Truth be told, most minorities would get along if they just all tapped into the struggle of being a minority in this country, because a lot of it is rooted in being poor. How you said you talked about Eddie Murphy, and you could relate to that. It had nothing to do with him being black. It's just like, yo, y'all, you're poor, so you understand that. Yeah.
Bro, did you get that? Did your ears tune in well enough to receive that and understand what he just said? That right there, and I kind of forgot how long that was, so I probably should have, moved my speech before later. But if minorities, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm excluding white people. I'm talking about middle class to poor folks, but most importantly, minorities. There's very little difference between us. We're like, technically, we're just all different shades of brown, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Our cultures are very similar. The what we eat is very similar. How we act and respond to certain situations is very similar. What is keeping us fighting against each other all the time? It's really nothing. The only thing that we all need to come to agreement and say, hey, we are running this country. We are continuously building this country, middle class to poor folks. We're working 24/7. We are the ones running this country. If we can stop fighting and bickering over nonsense, and the media does such a good job, and I try not to dwell on stories that don't really push America forward, and I'm talking about Kanye West and Candace Owens being a distraction, this whole talking about transgender and just going into some weird details, that is a distraction. We just need to love people, and we need to make sure everybody is living a life of dignity, making sure they're making enough money to where they're not just living literally check to check. I'm talking about, if a $50 bill was to come out of nowhere, that's going to make a major difference in their week. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these distractions just need to go. We need to see and pursue the real enemy, and that's the 10%, the politicians, the greedy, hatred politicians who on the left and right, who's controlling all this nonsense and keeping themselves in power. That's all that they're doing. That's all that they're doing. I don't care if you're right. I don't care if you're left. I don't care if you're anything in between. If you are continuously pushing these distractions onto the people so you can continuously keep yourself in power, you unfortunately are the enemy. That's it. It's not the poor folks who look like me. It's not the poor folks who don't look like me. We're all poor. We're all struggling, and they all taking money from us. They're all taking and stripping our freedoms away, because when you're rich, when you have, and I'm not just talking about you're making 70, 80, 90,000, 100,000. I'm talking about rich. I'm talking about when you got enough money to leave your kids. I'm talking about those kind of people. Those kind of people have the real freedom, because when you have financial freedom, then all these other freedoms seem to kind of gravitate towards you. But when you're poor and you're depending on your job that is dangling your health care, you can't leave your job because your health care is tied to your job. So guess what? You have no freedom of speech. You can't speak your mind. You can't go to your kid's school and say, hey, I don't like the curriculum that's being taught here. Guess what? They're going to kick your kids out of that school. And that might be a good school. You can't afford no private schools. You can't afford or have the time to do homeschool. You see what I'm saying? So when you have the money, unfortunately, money shouldn't be the center of everything, but that's just how capitalism works. You get that freedom. And when you're poor, you don't have that. So why are we fighting amongst each other? That's my question, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, conversations like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people might, it's the Breakfast Club. He's a comedian. It's not going to be no substance, no valuable information. Man, as long as you have the ears to hear, pay attention. As long as you have the eyes to see, pay attention. Then you can get valuable information like that. And you got to be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself and analyze your spirit. Make sure that you are doing your part. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a lot of people, I only been doing this YouTube thing. I've been doing this YouTube thing for 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks. And I have dozens of comments talking about, oh, you leftist, you don't know what a woman is, you don't this, and you're stupid, and one day I'm just gonna show you guys all these comments, and it's like, do you guys not understand what I am trying to do here? I don't give a damn about no left. I don't give a damn about no right. I don't give a damn about no politician, no president. I don't care if he's black. I don't care if he's white or anything in between. All I care about is the people. That's it. I'm not on nobody's nuts. I am no fanboy of nobody. I'm just a fan of the people. Like, look at the tattoos. Power to the people. That's my only worry. And when I see a whole bunch of distractions, such as Candace Owens, Kanye West, these dumbass Democrats, these greedy Republicans, and they're feeding into it. As long as they stay in power, that's all they care about. That's all they care about. So when you come at me on my channel talking about, oh, you leftist, you obviously haven't. You're not paying attention to what I am trying to portray. What I'm trying to get out there is truth. That's it. An unbiased truth. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.